let's get started, I think. So welcome to yet another webinar in the series of Umbraco Technology Partners. This time, I would like to introduce you to MirrorWeb. In Umbraco, we believe in best of breed, and with way more than 500,000 sites running on Umbraco, there are a lot of these that has other softwares built in or integrated with. With Umbraco Technology Partner Program, we want to inspire and build connection between our solution partners and our technology partners. On this series of webinar, you will get the chance to meet a new technology partner presenting their service and software. My name is Anders Sorensen. I am CSO here at Umbraco, and with me today I have Jack and Garrett. They will both tell you about MirrorWeb and their archive service, and they'll give you all the needed info about their software for Umbraco, which I personally am quite excited to see. So stay tuned for the next 30 minutes. Gentlemen, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Anders. My name is Gareth Johnson. I'm partner manager at MirrorWeb, and I'm joined by my colleague here, Jack.
Hey guys, I'm Jack. I lead the business development and demonstrations here at MirrorWeb.
So, as part of the presentation today, we'll talk to you a bit about who MirrorWeb are, who we work with, why we're working with them. We'll give you a very brief demo of the platform, and that'll help bring all of this to life for you. We'll just touch briefly on the partnership scheme that we're running, or partnership program rather, and then we'll open up some Q&A. We'll get started. So who are we? So as a business, MirrorWeb started archiving websites for the UK government back in 2016. And we're a team of 35 technologists and like-minded people based up in our headquarters in Manchester in the UK. We like to think of ourselves as the new face of electronic communications archiving. Having reviewed the market, there are a few incumbents that we believe, and our customers tell us, that are providing perhaps somewhat dated services that are poorly supported and expensive. So we're looking to provide a viable alternative for that market. So what do we do? So we provide a range of archiving services for different digital channels. At the heart of what we do is web archiving. So that's what we're here to talk to you guys about today. But supporting that, we also have a range of other digital channels that we can archive, all of them that you can see here, along with email archiving capability as well as the elusive LinkedIn. So we do this for a really broad range of financial services businesses. So these are just some of the examples that you can see here. Regulated firms are required to be able to demonstrate that the content they produce is fair, clear, and not misleading. And the result of the web archiving process provides them with time-stamped, tamper-proof instances of their web content as it appeared on any given day. So why is it that we're only just sort of talking about this now? Well, a lot of the businesses that you see here on the slide, we're trying to create their own records in some way, but it's a very time-consuming, very difficult, expensive process to manage yourselves. So as we'll look to try and demonstrate as part of the presentation today, we introduce automation to take away the burden of storage, screenshotting, and the sort of errors that can leave the business open to. So we don't just work with financial services businesses. We work with a broad range of other organizations. As you can see, we work with media, universities and education, brands like Pernod Ricard, and not-for-profits like the United Nations. So why do these organizations use this type of service? Well, again, from a university's perspective, as a business, they're required to be able to prove what content was posted on their websites in relation to course fees, to the prospectuses and the course information that they're putting out there to induce students to use their services. From a National Archives perspective or a public sector perspective, what we're doing is helping organizations to create permanent records of their digital footprint. So we're looking at this from a heritage and a preservation perspective. So that's the type of organizations that we're supporting. So as businesses that develop websites using the Umbraco platform, if you were to be talking to customers or your customers about the idea of using an archiving service, a lot of the responses that you will receive is, well, we use a backup, or we're taking screenshots. But a very important distinction needs to be made between an archiving service that, as I said before, produces or results in time-stamped, tamper-proof instances of web pages versus a backup. So it's all wrapped up very neatly in this line here. An archive is for discovery, a backup is for recovery. So if we take the idea of a regulator-led investigation, an e-discovery manager is going to want to have a complete historic record of the content that had been published on their web estates. That needs to have been indexed and to be searchable. And it also needs to be easily accessed. It needs to be quickly available to them as part of this review. Last but not least, these records that we do produce are a legally admissible form of document, whereas a backup or an archive, a backup or a screenshot is not. They're open to manipulation, and for those reasons, they're not legally admissible. Okay, so I think what we'll do is just hand over to Jack so that he can give you a quick run through of the platform. Just bear me a second. Anders, how do we switch across? Sorry.
Well, I think Jack just need to press the share screen button, and then he's done.
Okay.
Is that working all okay, guys?
Yep.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. So here in front of you is the MirrorWeb dashboard. So we've made the MirrorWeb dashboard as easy to possibly navigate through as it possibly can do. As Gareth alluded to, this service can be one of those, it can be a security blanket, so it can be one of those set and forget type services. But when you do need to access information across historical archives, you want to be able to access them really quickly. So when any client logs onto the MirrorWeb dashboard, this is the first platform that they will see, on the first screen that they will see. Some really basic information, so just for the purpose of demonstration, we've archived one website. So we've archived the website of one client that we're working with in Canada Life, who are an Umbraco user. We've done 2 crawls of that website that we'll show in a short instance. This is the associated data storage. And we have social media archiving capabilities, as Gareth mentioned, so we can look at that as well. So really simply, to view one of the archives, all I will do is click this drop-down box here and click into Web Archives. And it's just the one website, canadalifeinternational.ie. 2 archives that we've ran, one on October 2nd of last year and one on February 10th. If I just click onto the October 2nd archive, that big green button, this will show an exact replica of the canadalifeinternational.ie website exactly as it appeared on the 2nd of October, and this page will behave exactly as it did so at that specific date and time. And you can navigate through the website as you would have been able to do so on the live site on that exact date. So just to show you that, I'll click into this Brexit Q&A just here. And you'll see from these FAQs, you can click these drop-down boxes and they will all work accordingly and provide the answers below. So as I mentioned, behaving exactly as it did do, similarly to a live instance of their site as they appeared on that specific date. You'll see this blue banner at the top. That will indicate that you are in an archived instance of your site. We appreciate that for home pages or specific pages, they might be quite static across websites, so they might not change a huge amount often. So this MirrorWeb blue banner at the top, that will always indicate that you're in an archived instance of the site. I'll just scroll down to the bottom here. So one thing that is important to many of our customers, the likes of Aberdeen Standard and AXA and other large investment and asset managers that we work with, is the ability to download important PDF documents. So I'll just click on one just here. So we collect all text, all images, all PDF embedded documents across a website, including YouTube videos or any other types of video, all associated media. So we can pick up all that important information, for example, key investor documents, etc., across our client sites. As I mentioned, we've also archived an instance on February 10th. So I'll just click onto that just here, just to show you another feature of our platform. So just in the top right corner here, you'll see an export and a compare function. See the export function, which is grayed out currently, that will give our clients the opportunity, if they come across this page, for example, and they need to share that with somebody in compliance or need to share that externally, all they'll be able to do quite simply is just click that export button and that will download as a PDF document and they'll be able to share that accordingly. Quite an interesting and useful feature is the compare and contrast tool just here. So obviously we've archived February 10th, but also on the 2nd of October. So I'll just be able to show you. Just click go. Now looking at the 2nd of October, you'll just see here, for example, Brexit, what's happening to prepare for Brexit. And you'll see, if I just scroll that across, this is the archived instance from the 10th of February, and Brexit what has happened. So all you'll need to do is scroll from left to right, and you'll be able to see the differences between two pages. So it can be a really useful tool when comparing two of the same pages perhaps, but from historical archives of the site. Just going back to the homepage, as Gareth alluded to in the deck that he went through earlier, that we have social media archiving capabilities. So across the full suite of social media, whether that be Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then a further 50 digital communications channels such as emails, Microsoft Teams, and Bloomberg. And I'll just show you here, if I click into the YouTube post, for example. And every time any of our clients who we archive their social media for, anytime they post on any of their social media sites, we can archive that. And if I'll just click onto this video to show you how that works.
Our offshore savings account is a regular savings plan.
And that all works perfectly. And similarly, with the Twitter account, anytime they post a new tweet, we archive all of their live posts as well. One last thing I'll show you guys. Let's go back to the homepage. Going into the settings, just in the top right corner here. So we support users groups, we support single sign-on and Active Directory. So you can have as many users as you so wish. So we don't charge for seat licenses. So whether they be members of compliance, whether they're members of marketing, we have some clients that have over 50 users that have access to the platform. So you can do that all in that settings page just here. And I think that's pretty much everything. Gareth, was there anything else that?
No, that's great. Thanks. I just wanted to give the audience a quick overview of what it is we do in terms of what it looks like in the platform. As you can see, it's a full instance of the site that we can navigate through as we would do the live version of the website. So, cheers, Jack.
Perfect.
Right. Move back. My mouse is okay. Can you see my screen? Sorry.
No, not yet.
Not yet, guys.
So push the green share screen in the bottom and pick the screen or application you want to share. Yeah, good.
Okay. All right, so we'll just quickly run through the partner program. As a business, we're looking to be sort of partner-led in terms of how we grow. That was part of the reason for the demonstration today, is to, I suppose, demonstrate that what we're providing to businesses like yours is a complementary, relevant value-add service. It can generate a recurring revenue for your company. The margins for that are quite high. It's not just for the first year, that would be for the lifetime of any contract. To introduce a service to a customer, it's very light touch in terms of onboarding. In fact, there's no integration required with the customer website or the customer infrastructure or yours. As a partner, you'd have full tech support and partner enablement as you would expect. Our client retention rates are excellent. In fact, touch wood, they're still at 100%. And as you can see, it's a very straightforward client proposition. From a financial services business perspective, this helps a company meet their regulatory requirements. And there are a number of other different opportunities across media, brands, and education. So what sets us apart from the competition? As I mentioned before, there's little to no integration. Some other organizations out there require software to be downloaded onto client infrastructure, which is often a no-no, which is how we've come to win particularly big bank as a customer. From a pricing perspective, we offer a very flattened, straightforward, per website, per year or per month pricing plan, which doesn't include any setup fee or exit fee. So there are no hidden costs there. We've worked very hard to create a first-class customer success team. Again, listening to client feedback, their experience of previous service providers was that they didn't get any customer support. So we've worked really hard to make sure that the whole onboarding process is as seamless and frictionless as possible, and that if customers do have any questions or need support, that's readily available to them. In terms of, again, going back to the pricing plan, we don't base this on data storage or the number of seat licenses. Again, it's just that per website, per month or per year cost. As we've touched on, we've got the full range of social media archiving capability, and we continuously develop and improve our tech. As websites continue to get more complex or less in some cases, we make sure that we're capable of capturing all of that information and being able to replay it successfully. Again, from a partner perspective, we've got all of the standard sales and marketing enablement for our partners, case studies, tutorial videos, marketing, sales collateral, etc. What we'd also do is look to create a demo account for our partners. So we would create some web archives for you within that platform, and then you're free to demonstrate that to customers on your own if that's preferable, and you'll always be supported by a dedicated partner manager. Different types of agreements are available. I've already spoken to some of the Umbraco community, and what's come back quite unanimously is that they see this as a very good value add service, and the commercial side of things. Whilst it's available, they recognise the importance of being able to provide something to customers that's gonna help them. Okay, so I don't know if we've got any questions to field, Anders.
Feel free for all participants to ask in the chat if any questions about this. I personally, I'm quite fond of that comparisons. I like that slider. It's quite nice. Perhaps, Garrett, you could talk a bit more about the pricing model. What is the price? How is that calculated in this?
Well, from a partner perspective, we would look to offer the service at a particular rate, a flat rate per website, per URL, sorry, per year. The partners are then free to add any margin that they see fit. So that margin could be particularly high, or if they would rather pass that through as a pass-through cost, then that's perfectly acceptable. But yeah, if anybody wants to get into the specifics of the commercials, we'll be quite happy to have that conversation with those guys offline.
Okay, so it's a dialogue.
Sure.
Yeah. So I got one here. Are you able to archive the content behind forms or logins?
Absolutely, yeah. So as long as we have the necessary credentials to get through a login page, we can archive whatever sits on the other side. And we do that for a broad range of customers, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you able to archive also different layouts from mobiles and tablets as well?
Yes, that's something that's built into the service, so that we would pick that up and be able to replay the different size formats. So
you actually just change your window size, or how does that work?
It's probably getting straight into technical waters that I'm not able to field, but yes, it's all built into the replay system, so that it recognises the device that you're looking at the archives on. All
right. So I guess this is kind of GDPR. So you're British, that's okay, but where are your archive servers located? EU, US, UK?
Excellent question. So we always aim to use a data center local to our customers. So if we're working with a US customer, we would use data centers based in the States. Similarly, we would use a Frankfurt data center if we were working with a German client, and so on and so forth. So we are able to ensure data sovereignty for clients that are operating around the world.
Yep. And it is on your data centers, right? I have one here asking, I would like to ask about the security of our archive data storage. The data storage will be at MirrorWeb server side or our server side?
Well, we're a cloud native company. What I suppose our main partner is Amazon Web Services. So we leverage that network to conduct the archiving from certain locations and store data in particular locations. We don't just work with Amazon Web Services, but obviously that gives us a really good reach on a global basis to support a global client base.
So a client with high needs of security could have their own Azure instance to run this on?
No, so we don't offer an on-premise instance of the system. It's, like I say, it's cloud-based. And yeah.
Okay. How's the support for dynamic loaded content? Content loaded through JavaScript or interactions with the site?
Yeah, so we support all of that. if whoever's asked the question, if they would like to see another demo of the platform based on a specific target website, we'd be quite happy to set that up and show them how the system performs using that website as an example.
Okay, then I would like to know if there's any in the audience here that would like to get started with this. How do they start? How do they? What's the next step?
Well, it would just be a case of getting in touch. What we would do is we'd first set up a demo account for the customer or the partner, using a target website in mind, and yeah, we would then discuss obviously commercials, etc., and move on from there. But the onboarding process, the setup process, is generally very quick, so we could do that within a week or two, depending on the number of websites in scope.
So it would actually be a demo or a trial on the actual site that you would provide a trial for?
Well, we would typically set up a demo account to, I suppose, demonstrate what the target website looks like in the platform.
Yeah.
If the customer's happy with that, then we proceed from there. And we normally archive on a daily basis for financial services. For universities, it tends to be more weekly or monthly because there's less change to the content in the website.
Okay. I have one here asking, is it possible only to archive specific pages on a site, or is it always the entire site that is archived?
Yeah, good question. So typically we archive websites in full, but we can target specific URLs, or a section of a website. Just need to know what it is that's required, and then we can configure the system to capture that specific content.
Okay. Is it possible to configure how often there's made an archive version of the site, or is it predefined?
No, absolutely. Again, we can run the schedule according to what the customer needs. Typically, we archive daily for financial services so that nothing's missed. Like I say, we can run that on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever it is that's required.
Yep. Okay. Any more questions from the audience? So, last question from me. So it's kind of just the URL that is the integration path for this, that you enter the URL and then your service pick up the rest.
That's it. So if we're archiving Umbraco, for example, we put in your website URL and then schedule the system to go and collect that information. It'll go through the entire domain. We can also pick up any information that's held in a subdomain. As I mentioned before, we do that. I suppose one kind of strange edge case that I might just finally mention, we recently signed up the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And what we're able to do is to actually provide a search service within the platform using traditional Chinese characters. So that was a bit of a first for us. So anybody that's working with Chinese organizations or that use Chinese characters, we can search using that service in the platform.
So Anand is asking, what about those sites which don't want to share the data with other parties? How archive service can be used for such sites?
So if somebody was to use the MirrorWeb service, the archives are only available, to the customer. So they would log in and they would only have access to their archives. Does that answer the question, or have I misunderstood?
Yeah.
Good.
I think it is. Yeah. Well, if no further questions for now, then I just want to thank you guys, Jack and Garrett, for great information here. Then the last thing I just want to say, if you are interested in hearing more, please contact these gentlemen here. I think Jack has just posted his email, and also Gareth is available here. Next webinar will be on the 17th of March, same time as this, and it will be our technology partner UCommerce presenting their well-integrated commerce software for Umbraco. I hope to see you all there. Thanks, and have a nice rest of the day.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, Anders.
Thank you.